tell me about, exciting day here in Toast. Just kind of tell me about what's going on.
Yeah, we're here in Toast today to try to introduce a new campaign for Hellmann's around using Hellmann's mayonnaise on the outside of a grilled cheese sandwich. And so conveniently we picked the town of Toast, North Carolina to come confiscate everybody's Hellmann's mayonnaise because Hellmann's doesn't belong inside of Toast, it belongs outside of Toast. We invite everybody out to the Food Line parking lot today to try a grilled cheese sandwich to let them in on the gag. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, now I've heard that you like some banana and mayonnaise sandwiches. Are you going to try to sneak some of those in?
I doubt it. I think we're going to focus on the grilled cheese today. That's a good sandwich. I love ham and mayo and Doritos. That's another great combination. But all kinds of ways to use Hellmann's mayonnaise, and I think we're going to be introducing a new one to some folks. I know a lot of people know about this, using Hellmann's instead of butter on the outside of a grilled cheese sandwich, but I think a lot of people will be surprised by how good it is.
Now, you've had a sponsorship with Hellmann's for a long time. Just kind of tell me a little bit about that relationship.
Well, we've been working with them for about a decade in the Xfinity Series. Junior Motorsports started an Xfinity program decades ago, and they've been a long-time partner of ours, and so we've done a lot of great promotions together. It's been a lot of fun. We get competitive on the racetrack, but off the racetrack as well, trying to promote Hellmann's and grow their market share.
Yeah, and now in just a few months, we're going to have the All-Star race back in North Wilkesboro Speedway. You were pretty integral in getting that racetrack back up to speed. What does it mean to you to see the track back alive and just kind of how everything played out last year?
It's been a dream come true, to be honest with you. I never thought it would happen. I wanted it to happen, but just didn't know how realistic that was. Marcus Smith and Charlotte Motor Speedway and that whole team came together and put a lot of effort behind it and a lot of money behind it as well. The state pitched in. There's a lot of government support, especially local in that area, and it's made a big difference. It was a big success last year. Not only the race itself, but the financial impact for the community was major. And so we're hoping to continue that. They repaved the racetrack. It's going to be a different race this year. They're out there testing now, trying to figure out what tires to use. So a lot of good excitement building around that race for this year.
And now North Wilkesboro Speedway as a way to host the All-Star race, but would you like to see it back on the circuit for a points race?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the ultimate end goal for Wilkesboro is to become a reoccurring points race back in the schedule comfortably. As a cornerstone racetrack for the NASCAR series, so the Cup level. So that's what you hope for. Getting closer every day. Hopefully a big success this All-Star weekend. Further convinces the NASCAR brass that that's something they need to do.
Now another North Carolina track, kind of part of that racetrack revival, Rockingham Speedway. Would you like to see Cup Series racing return to the Rock?
I think the Rockingham Speedway definitely has a place in NASCAR, and I'd love to see our Cup cars trying to compete at that racetrack again someday. I think it's a real possibility.
Now the NASCAR Cup Series is still pretty early on right now, but who are some of the drivers who have stood out to you so far?
Well, there's a lot of drivers that have stood out to me in this short little run we've had. Been impressed by Carson Hocevar's speed in the Spire cars. Been impressed by Noah Gragson's consistency in the SHR car. Those cars struggled last year, and he's ran really well in the top 10 all year. There should be a lot of surprises as the year continues. A lot of the guys that did well and made to the Final Four last year are doing well again this year. Christopher Bell's recent win at Phoenix automatically locks him into the playoffs, makes him a contender, especially since the championship will be decided at Phoenix. That's got to put him in that favorite category.
Is there any driver who hasn't necessarily made noise yet that you expect to, down the stretch, make a little bit of a run?
Yeah, I'm a little biased, but I'm always watching Josh Berry, keep my eye on him, what he's doing, and they've kind of struggled to find some, momentum this early in the season, but watching every lap and every practice and every qualifying session and every race to see how they progress, and I'm hopeful that it's, as the season goes on, they start to find that speed and pace they're looking for.
Now, for a very long time, you've been a fan favorite in racing overall. What does it mean to be here today and to see all these fans out here to come out and see you?
Yeah, I'm just glad they're here and they're going to learn about Hellmann's and the relationship that we have with them, and hopefully we'll enjoy some great grilled cheese sandwiches here in a bit.
Now, when you take a look back at your career, you pretty much were grown up into the sport. Obviously, were a race car driver, got into the media side a little bit, made some cameos in some movies. How has that all kind of shaped your perspective on racing today?
You know, every time you get a different perspective on the sport, it's going to help you really appreciate everybody's job, not only just what everybody's trying to do to pull the sport in the right direction, but how difficult people's jobs are. You mentioned getting into broadcasting. I never really appreciated the role they play as much as I should have as a driver. Same when I became a car owner. It really gave me a new appreciation for what owning the car is like, what running the team is like, being in charge of people's livelihoods, all the employees. You know, I always thought it was just about winning that trophy, winning that race, taking the checker flag, but you got people's lives in your hands when you're running that business, and that's pretty critical. So you got to put that as the top priority over performance on the racetrack sometimes. So you know, you're learning all those things, and I'm always encouraged to try to put myself in a different perspective as often as possible to see the sport from all the views, right? And I don't know what's left. I really don't. I've seen about everything, so I don't know what else is left, but I've really enjoyed it.
What were some of your favorite tracks that you raced on during your career?
I've always enjoyed different tracks for different reasons. You know, Bristol was always a lot of fun, but I used to love going there as a kid, so I just latched onto that track and enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed it as a driver, but that was my favorite track to go to when I was really young as a kid. Seeing the night race at Bristol, there's just nothing like it in person as a fan. Daytona and Talladega, a lot of fun to race, wide open throttle, never off the gas for anything. Using the air around you and the car, air off of the other cars is a science. Always enjoyed trying to figure that out. And there's a lot of other racetracks. It's got fun corners, fun transitions, things like that. And I never really was much of a fan of the road courses, but they were a tough challenge to overcome. And I had some pretty good runs at Watkins Glen and a couple moments that I enjoyed at Sears Point. But I grew up as a short track racer, and I always loved running the short tracks like Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond.
A few years ago, you were inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. What does it mean to you to be remembered now among all the greats in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. That was kind of the best. That was kind of the peak of the mountain, I imagine, you know, and the best compliment you could get is from the industry to say that you mattered, right? So that felt really good. You know, I wanted to be a champion like my dad. Unfortunately, on the cup level, I wasn't able to ever win a championship, but you want to matter. You want to feel like you were an asset to something. And so you found other ways to do that and other ways to be that to the sport, and continue to try to do that today. And so that was kind of a nice way to get told that, you know, your efforts mattered and you were of value to the sport.
Last question for you today, Dale. What is your favorite racing memory of all time?
Oh man, it's hard to say there's a favorite. I got a lot of memories that sort of all run neck and neck for that lead spot. Winning the All-Star race as a rookie with Dad there. That celebration in Victory Lane with him after the race was incredible. Both of the Daytona 500 wins, both of the championship celebrations in the Xfinity Series. My first Xfinity win, my first Cup win, winning at Martinsville, winning at Bristol, sweeping at Pocono. I mean, there's a lot of different memories that were, all of them were great. I mean, there's, you know, you never win a race and it doesn't, like, all of them rank right up there. That's what you do it for. So, you know, some matter for different reasons, but they're all very special.